Hi, welcome everyone to another episode of Let's Talk Special Economic Zones. I'm your host, Ainsley Brown. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about AI, artificial intelligence, and special economic zones. Now, artificial intelligence is both a threat and an opportunity for special economic zones. They represent a threat in terms of what zones are and how they're constituted and the industries that are in them, particularly industries that are of the in services, particularly around business processes. So BPOs, whether call centers or a little higher up the value chain within BPOs, that do certain back office functions. In addition, if you want to go wider into the global services value chain where you get into um, knowledge process outsourcing. Even there's a threat as well, but also an opportunity. The opportunities come in a variety of forms in terms of administration of the zones. Bring in certain automation, bringing in um, certain interactivity with the zone authorities, the zones that the folks that run the zones. So you can automate certain processes and be more efficient. In addition, new jobs are emerging, and this is where things get more challenging. And you'll see statistics that say, the AI and other fourth industrial revolutions type technologies are going to destroy X amount of jobs, but then it's going to create more jobs than it kills. And that's kind of hard to fathom and wrap your head around because we don't know. You know, if you go back a few years ago, you would never, a job such as social media specialist didn't exist, right? Because social media didn't exist. And that wasn't that long ago. So we don't know what some of the jobs will be. We have clues in terms of what is emerging. Like, for example, one of the areas is, and even this is under threat too, but right now it's still viable, training AI, that is so that the AI can recognize certain patterns. Something as basic as this is a pencil, right? And then this is a pen, and then this is a book. Things like that. Something very simple as that. Uh, but then you get into more sophisticated things, such as, a group of cells over here, that's normal, but in a group of cells over here, that's cancerous. So, training the AI to support certain functions, while you still have human intervention, that finalizes certain things, will become very important. So, for those nations, for example, particularly developing countries that have good training programs with nurses, for example, I know the Philippines is a good example where they have nurses, a lot of nurses, and their nurses actually work inside zones and they provide services for medical practitioners of a variety of sorts, some of which is back office stuff, others is actually related to the actual practice of medicine. They offer support in that regard. So that's another possibility in terms of training AI, from the most basic to the more complicated, those jobs. But again, those jobs also could then become under threat because of how AI is being structured. So we have to look at it in a very holistic way, but take advantage of the opportunities that present themselves now. So zones have to take advantage of that, and then whatever comes, you then adapt yourself, and stay ahead of the curve and take advantage of things. One of the reasons why AI has become such a threat too, and it's not specific to zones, and I should say zones, well, no matter what you call them, free zones, enterprise zones, foreign trade zones, industrial parks, it's all the same thing. A geographic area that has, special been designated, where certain laws, trade rules might be a little bit different than others, and certain fiscal incentives are offered. Um, for investors to come and do their commercial activities. Now, why AI, especially now, has become such a threat is that how ubiquitous it is, and it's being used by ordinary folks, right? It's not a case of just companies, big companies using it to enable some sort of function, or you have some chatbots that can mimic voice, right? Which is another threat to call centers, for example, that dominate zones in variety of locations around the world. Um, it's not just that it's that you have chat gpt, for example, as one example, and that's only one example. Let's be clear, it's been making the headlines, but it's only one example where ordinary folks ordinary folks can take it and use it, have it do various types of functions that normally would have been outsourced, right? Normally would have been outsourced, or you try to do it in-house, but you outsource it, which becomes a source of a contract, right? And bundled together, you have various contracts that you people would be offering these services. So that's one of the reasons why it's become. But as much as there is that threat, it also represents an opportunity, right? An opportunity for even greater economic activities, and activities being generated, um, much more, not just from big companies, but from everyday people and smaller businesses. So if you like this episode, please like, share, subscribe. If you want to see me do a particular topic, or go into a topic I've already done in a little bit more depth, just leave me a message down below and I'll get right back to you.